Welcome back to Mama Movies. Today I will talk about 2019 comedy drama movie, Jojo Rabbit. How about we start the anecdotal city of Falkenheim, where Nazi Germany is beginning to implode, is the home of Jojo, a 10-year-old kid who keeps Adolf Hitler as his non-existent companion yet can't tie his own shoes. He's a genuine patriot and a devotee, influenced with Nazi beliefs and anxious to help his country during the conflict. Also, that is the reason he's joining Jungvik, the lesser part of the Hitler Youth, with his companion Yorkie. They're spending the entire end of the week at a camp run by Captain Klenzendorf, his second-in-order Freddie Finkel, and Fräulein Rahm, who is responsible for the League of German Young Ladies. They're giving child-measured regalia and a unique knife before they're taken to encounter an assortment of exercises like explosive tossing, channel burrowing, map perusing, and gas protection, among others. Or possibly, the young men are. The young ladies are instructed to dress injuries, make beds, and step-by-step instructions to get pregnant. Jojo, in all actuality, does well in exercises like portraying Jewish individuals and copying books. Be that as it may, with regards to hand-to-hand battle, he moves frightened and sneaks off, acquiring the consideration of the more established young men. At the point when the opportunity arrives for the kid to figure out how to kill, these young people perceive how reluctant Jojo is and placed a bunny in his arms, requesting that he illustrate. Jojo swears he isn't terrified, yet he actually can't force himself to do it, so he attempts to let the hair go. Nonetheless, the youngster kid snatches it before it can flee and kills it himself, continuing. Then, at that point, to ridicule Jojo for his disappointment. Since he's terrified like a little bunny, they start referring to him as Jojo Rabbit, which disturbs him and makes him hurry to the forest. While he sits on a tree root crying, non-existent Hitler appears and lets him know hares are in reality beautiful daring. They go out in the wild consistently to get their carrots and they have to be tricky not to get found out. Urged to be a powerful bunny, Jojo runs back to camp where Klenzendorf is showing the children to toss projectiles under his watch. Jojo passes by him, takes the projectile he has in his grasp. What's more, keeps on running into the forest where he tosses the explosive so seriously that it bobs off a tree and terrains on his feet, detonating all over. Jojo falls oblivious, however he has some foggy recollections of individuals getting him to the medical clinic and his mom Rosie Betzler visiting him. He awakens occasionally later in his room, and the main thing he sees when he gets up is the limp on his leg, the second being the scars all over he tracks down when checking out the mirror. His mom comes to mind him then to embrace him and advise him that he has her regardless of whether his dad is no more. Furthermore, his sister Inga passed on. Subsequent to making him put on his uniform once more, Rosie returns Jojo to the Jungvik base camp, where they observe Klenzendorf gracelessly taking care of Finkel. Klenzendorf has as of now been downgraded for carelessness, yet Rosie actually hits him on the crotch with her knee and hits him with her glove, making him guarantee he'll give Jojo some work to do, regardless of whether it isn't on the field. What's more, that he'll feel included. Jojo is given the assignment of setting up publicity banners in and out of town. Furthermore, conveying enrollments, which he does with bunches of excitement. One evening, while at the same time working, he observes his mom gazing at a gathering of individuals hanged at a hangman's tree in the public square, and when Jojo asks her what they did, she answers what they could. At the point when he returns home later, his mom isn't there, and he begins to get anxious when he hears commotions coming from his sister's room. He enters the room to examine and observes a bizarre blemish on the floor that goes up the divider, so he embeds his blade into it and figures out how to open a phony segment of the divider. There is a space behind it enough for an individual to creep into and different articles spread around. Toward its finish, he's stunned to observe a little kid, Elsa Kor, who follows him out of the room. As he shouts and goes around the house in dread, she gets him when he's going to arrive at the front entryway and pushes him against the divider, showing him she has his blade and conceding she's Jewish. Yet, she's there in light of the fact that Rosie had welcomed her to stow away in her home. In the event that Jojo educates anybody regarding her, Elsa guarantees she'll say he and Rosie helped her, which would get them killed too. Later, she gets back to her concealing spot with his blade. Jojo hurries to his room and talks about his choices with non-existent Hitler. Arriving at the resolution he ought to arrange, he snatches a kitchen blade. What's more, a pot to secure himself, then, at that point, gets back to his sister's space to tell Elsa she should find Elsewhere to live. He gets frightened once more, be that as it may, when she astonishes him from behind, takes the kitchen blade also, and shows him out of the room. Jojo examines things with fanciful Hitler again, and they arrive at the resolution he should cause Elsa to have a real sense of security, so she'll drop her watch. At the point when Rosie returns the evening, Jojo tells her he's heard commotions higher up, yet she lets him know it must have been rodents. Later Rosie takes care of Jojo. She goes to see Elsa to advise her to be more cautious, since, in such a case that something were to occur, she can't pick her over her own child. She additionally reminds Elsa that as long as there's somewhere around one individual alive out there, then, at that point, they are losing. The following day, Jojo goes to the pool, which should assist him with his leg. He sees Klenzendorf and Finkel are there as well, sitting intently together and showing apprehension of Rosie. Later his mother leaves, Jojo approaches them. What's more, inquires as to whether he observed a Jewish individual. The response is to call the Gestapo, who will kill them, and whoever helped them. Jojo additionally considers how one can even distinguish a Jewish individual, to which Klenzendorf says he doesn't know either, and somebody ought to compose a book about it. When he returns home, Jojo attempts to converse with Elsa once more. Subsequent to bringing up they're at an impasse. Since neither of them can tell on the other, assuming that they don't need inconvenience, he tells her he'll permit her to remain in return for data about the Jewish public so he can compose a confession book. Elsa acknowledges and clarifies they're individuals very much like him, yet since he will have a hard time believing her, she says they're cash-cherishing evil presences that are hypersensitive to food. Jojo rapidly gets on her arrangement to get him to bring her food, and when he begins clarifying the Aryan race is predominant and the Jewish public are frail, Elsa gets him, covers his mouth, and shakes him as she discloses to him there's nothing powerless with regards to Jewish individuals before she returns to her concealing spot. At the point when Rosie returns the evening, she consumes something in the chimney prior to pouring some wine and playing music. She's exceptionally glad in light of the fact that the Allies have taken Italy and France will be straightaway. Jojo starts contending with her for being against her nation, so Rosie stops the discussion and advises him to eat. She isn't eating, however, guaranteeing she isn't ravenous, and Jojo rapidly speculates she's saving the nourishment for Elsa, so he chooses to have the extras for himself. He imagines that assuming his dad were here he would comprehend, and since he needs to see him so gravely, Rosie puts on her better half's coat and paints a facial hair growth all over with debris to chide Jojo for talking like that to his mom. Utilizing her significant other's voice, she likewise requests that he deal with her since she's doing awesome. She can, then, at that point, she turns up the music and makes Jojo hit the dance floor with her. The following day, Jojo gives Elsa a pencil and paper for her to draw where Jewish individuals reside and where Jewish ladies lay their eggs. Elsa begins drawing, however she won't address inquiries regarding her family. Notwithstanding, she enlightens Jojo concerning her life partner Nathan, who is away battling with the opposition. The image she gives Jojo is his very own drawing head, since that is the place where Jewish individuals reside. Peruses it to her, who clearly doesn't trust him, however it actually harms her to hear such awful things about her with her life partner's name joined to it. She surges once more into her concealing spot. Furthermore, seeing her so upset and human makes Jojo lament the entire thing, so he composes a new letter as Nathan saying the last one wasn't correct, and he really does in any case adore her. Elsa expresses gratitude toward him and requests that he acquire her more letters what's to come. They play a round of who can name more well-known and notable individuals on their sides, and Elsa wins when she raises Jesus. In a little while, Jojo and there were individuals all the time there, moving and getting a charge out of sentiment, which Jojo peers down on. Rosie additionally figures kids shouldn't examine legislative issues, they ought to play and climbing trees, and everybody ought to move as an indication of opportunity. Jojo peers down on this also and takes off on his bicycle, with Rosie following him intently. At the point when they arrive at the street, they see a truck of warriors get back, looking bleak and crushed. Jojo returns to his home feeling terrible also, so Elsa attempts to divert him by recounting to him ludicrous dream tales about her kin. He begins getting used to her and appreciating her conversation, for which non-existent Hitler chides later, letting him know his German mind shouldn't be bossed around. Later he rests, Rosie spends some time with Elsa, advising her she's happy to have her and see her become a lady since she couldn't do as such with her girl. The next day, Jojo goes to the Jungvik Central Command, where he observes Klenzendorf and Finkel conversing with one another with their noses practically contacting, an unmistakable pressure between them. Jojo lets them know he's compassing a confession on Jewish individuals, yet they chuckle at him, not trusting it's genuine. Klenzendorf chooses to impart to him a few plans. He should gather scrap for the conflict exertion. While strolling the roads dressed as a robot, Jojo sees his mom giving out minimal enemy of Nazi flyers. Please subscribe for further updates.